channel. My name is and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you join me here today. You know, there's just so much to be thankful for. I know that, 2020 was not an easy year for a lot of people, and which means that there's even much more to be thankful for, just for the simple fact that we have breath in our lungs and we're still here. That's really something to give God glory and honor for. And you know what, I'm just really excited that you're here joining me. I'm really thankful. I don't take it for granted. If you haven't already, do subscribe, do hit the like button, and also do make sure that we engage in the comment section. So I thought to myself, what's the best way to actually start off, to kick off this year? And I thought, well, let's look back. I know that a lot of times looking back is often discouraged, but I think it matters why it is that you're looking back. And if it's to look back and to say, you know what, God, you have carried me, thank you so much, then there can be a lot of value in that. But really, let's get into today's topic that we're going to be talking about. And so like I said, that I wanted to look back, to share with you something, and this was actually triggered as a result of one of my friends resharing a post that I had shared on my Facebook page, my public Facebook page. And it's the post that I had pinned at the very top, because I wanted to always remember whenever I went on my page to just see that post and to remember what God has said to me for the year 2020. And so I had written about transcendence. In 2019 December, I had a very special someone from South Africa. She's like a mom to me. She raised me from the time that I was a newborn until I was 5 years old. I lived with her and her family, which is, we are related actually. And so she came to visit me, and we went on a scenic flight. It was really awesome. If you've never been on a scenic flight before, do it. If you happen to find yourself in Maung, do come through, go on a scenic flight. And but that's when really God gave me this word transcend, or transcendence. So as we kept on going higher and higher, I have mixed feelings about flying, really, for various reasons. I like to stay as close to the ground as possible. It just kind of makes you feel more in control, but there are people who love to be up there in the sky. And so we went there. It was sort of like a special treat for her, because it was her first time in Botswana, first time in Maung, and we thought, you know what, let's just do something really special for her, my sister and I. And so my sister organized for us to go on a scenic flight, and so we went on a scenic flight, like I said, December 2019. And as we kept on going, everything just shrinks, and you gain a new perspective. Everything shrinks, the buildings appear smaller, you get to see wildlife, you get to see hippopotamuses, and they are little oval bags. They're not little in real life, but their bags, just become like, like these small oval shaped things, and they look like, these rocks or something like that. That's the best way that I can describe it. You see giraffes, you see elephants, all these animals, all this wildlife that that close up is really big. But the higher you go, it just appears smaller and smaller and smaller, and it really shrinks. And what appears to be bigger is actually what comes like in herds, like if you get a herd of buffalo, and and so on and so forth. And so we kept on going and going and going and going, and it was really beautiful. It was lush, it was green, it had been raining quite a bit, so everything was just green. We're just flying over the delta. It was absolutely beautiful. If you don't know, it's Maung, well, the delta, it's the largest inland delta in the world, so it's actually really, it's quite a monument. It's quite something. If you've never seen it before, you definitely have to see it. And so, as I was up there, I began to feel the Spirit of God just talking to me, began to hear the Spirit of God talking to me. And, the word that kept on coming was transcend, transcend, transcend. Now, mind you, this is in 2019, and granted, COVID-19, because it started in 2019, at that time it hadn't gone as far and as wide as it had gone in 2020. And not that this thing was really only centered around that, but it was quite important, you know, for me to hear that, because the thing is, oftentimes God will give you something. He'll give you a word, you know, a phrase. He will tell you something. He'll give you an instruction, and it doesn't even quite make sense at the moment, you know, at that time. I mean, I've never lived through a pandemic before, and so I didn't even realize how fast spread it was actually going to go. So I wasn't really quite bothered about that, let me say, to be very honest, because I didn't realize how much it was going to affect a lot of people, and everyone just kind of think it's something that comes and then goes, or, you know, it just kind of blows over. Well, you know, when you've lived through 2020, you get to realize that, nope, it doesn't just blow over. And, you know, I needed to transcend. I really needed to transcend. And, well, actually, let me do this. I prepared some notes, and just to give the definition of transcendence or transcend, really, I went to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and it describes the word transcend as, you know, the transitive verb says A, to rise above or go beyond the limits of; B, to triumph over the negative or restrictive aspects of. You know, it means to overcome. It means to be prior to and above the universe or material existence. 2, to outstrip or outdo in some attributes, quality, or power. And the intransitive verb says to rise above or extend notably beyond ordinary limits. So this was very important, because, you know, it just means to go above, to go beyond the limits. And I was reminded of Isaiah chapter 55 verse 9, which says that as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And even the book of Colossians actually tells us to set our minds on things above and not on earthly things. And, you know, it's not only on, you know, like maybe good earthly things. You know, people often say, you know, don't chase after the material stuff and all of that stuff. But even just the bad things that happen, you know, like, you know, COVID is really bad. It really is bad. You know, so many people lost their lives, their jobs. There was so much loss, you know, that cannot even, you know, can barely be put into words. And it was through each step, through each month that I lived through, that I realized why it was that God gave me this word to transcend. And it kept on replaying, you know, because I had written something on social media about how, you know, when bad things come your way, you know, you're gonna have to transcend. When people say things about you, you're gonna have to transcend, you know. And I think the most important thing about transcendence is the fact that it gives you a new perspective, a different perspective. You know, when you consider it, you know, when you have an aerial view of the place, you just get such a wider scope, as opposed to, you know, when you're down here and you're looking at everything face to face, everything appears so much bigger, you know. But then when you begin to go higher, which makes you realize, as Isaiah chapter 55 verse 9 says, granted, perhaps in 2020 you didn't get to strike off as many goals as you would have liked to, because you felt that, you know, everything that was going on was standing in your way. You know, if you gained a different perspective, that, you know, probably far supersedes anything else that you could have gained. And now I'm not minimizing the fact that, you know, it's very important for us to just actually live, you know, to see our goals being fulfilled, our desires being fulfilled, you know. But sometimes it's just something far greater that God does within us and through us that is immaterial, you know, that cannot be measured, you know, in terms of like how the world sees value, how everyone else sees value. But if a greater work happened within you, you know, whether that's mean that you have become more compassionate, more humble, more understanding, more patient, you know, there are certain things that God definitely, you know, formed within all of us. I'd like to believe, at least I know that so many people that I talked to, you know, they said, you know what, I just gained such a different perspective. I began to appreciate people in my life even more. I began to appreciate my life even more, and so on and so forth. And so, you know, now looking back in hindsight, and actually, because the thing with God is that when he speaks, his word is progressive. It continues on and on and on. And this is not to say that now, because I had this word transcend in 2020, everything has just come to a halt as soon as, you know, the calendar changed to the 1st of January 2021. No, I believe that he continues to build upon it. You know, the Bible says line upon line and precept upon precept. You know, like when you're building a house, you need a proper and a firm foundation. And so, you know, even some of those things, I sternly believe that when he gave me that word transcend, was part of the foundation that he was laying. And you know, so for me, I know that a lot of people, the way that they do their New Year's resolutions is, you know, it's different, you know, for everyone. They find what works for them. But a couple of years ago, I think maybe about 6 years ago or so, I was introduced to this thing called One Word 365. And it's an initiative by Elise Ronzino, who's out of America. And, you know, through our Girlfriends and God sessions, you know, we were introduced to this concept of One Word 365. And I'll just quickly read what it says on their website, which you can check out on www.oneword365.com. So that's www.oneword, and then the numbers 365, the digits 365.com. You can check that out. People have blogs, they've written about their experiences and so on and so forth. So it says on the website, you know, just a little, forget New Year's resolutions, scrap that long list of goals you won't remember a few weeks from now anyway. Choose just one word you can focus on every day all year long. One word that sums up who you want to be or how you want to live. It will take intentionality and commitment, but if you let it, your one word will shape not only your year, but also you. It will become the compass that directs your decisions and guides your steps. Discover the big impact one word can make. One word, 365 days, a changed life. And then it goes on to say, One Word 365 is more than a new way to approach resolutions. It's a global tribe committed to journeying together and living intentionally. You can connect with others who have chosen the same word or live in your area. Together, we can inspire and challenge each other to live purposefully all year long. Isn't that exciting? It's very exciting for me. So, you know, it just gives you focus. I think that's the most important thing. And, you know, different people probably do it in different ways. You know, sometimes your one word may not necessarily fit into like all areas of your life. Maybe in business, your one word may perhaps be growth. You know, in your relationships, your one word may be perseverance, in, you know, or patience, you know, in a different aspect of your life, something else, you know what I mean? But so far, as far as I know, just different people, they only choose just one word because then maybe it would kind of like defeat the purpose of that one word 365. But, you know, I'm just kind of giving you variations of what it could actually look like in your own life, because you have to contextualize it within your own situation. And so I was very excited. I'm very excited. I'm so happy that God gave me that word. It has made so much sense. I had almost forgotten. I know you're supposed to keep it before you, but I'll be super honest. I had almost forgotten until, you know, people started to share and, you know, talking about New Year's resolutions. And then some people were sharing from my page and I was like, oh yeah, there was this. And then I was looking back and I was like, now it makes so much sense why God gave me this word. And, you know, so in closing, here's the interesting thing. So I have a word for 2021. And as we well know, not everything is for public consumption. So I'm not yet at liberty. I don't feel I'm at liberty as yet to share what that word is. It's between God and I for now. I literally have not shared it with anyone. And I think one of the things also is because I'm still trying to make sense of it. You know, I mean, I know that sometimes we're the ones who just kind of choose a word and say, you know what, this is what I'm running with, this is the area I need to improve on. I literally, as I was considering this, as I was looking back upon this and, you know, and pondering upon it, this word was just dropped into my spirit. And it was almost so strange, like, huh? What does this mean? This is very interesting. It really didn't make a lot of sense to me. it still sort of doesn't, but a lot of things, that God calls us to don't always make sense. And so I'm just really still being quite prayerful to ask God, what does this mean? And I believe that as I continue to walk, over the next few weeks, over the next few days, over the next few months, that He's going to reveal to me, because these things are quite progressive. It may start here. I don't want to assume I know what God means. He has His will over my life, and I'm open to that. And so He's given me this one word, and hopefully He would have released me to say something, maybe even before the end of the year, or maybe next year, or maybe never even, and that's completely okay. I'm just going to walk in obedience, and it's not necessarily a word that I would have chosen for myself, like I said, because I'm just like, okay, this is this is a very interesting word. It's a popular word, it's a common word, but I just believe it might just be something that He's wanting to do in my own life. So I'm trying to figure that out, and I'm very excited. And tell me if you've heard about One Word 365 before. A couple of years before, I remember that one of my words was love. And someone asked me, just stuff about love, and I was like, no, I believe that it also means that I should not only give, not only about receiving love, but also to just give love, and vice versa. And then there was also trust, and learning to trust God. And so all these things have built over the years. I still carry those words with me, but for every year there's just something that I focus on, but I just wanted to share that with you, and to officially wish you a happy new year. And I'd like to hear from you. Have you heard about One Word 365? What is it that you know? Is it something that sounds exciting to you? Do you have a word for 2021, and would you like to share it with us? Maybe let's just communicate. Let's converse in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, do like it, do share it, so that someone else can also benefit from it as well. Do kindly subscribe also, so that we can continue on this journey together, as I usually say. Thank you to those who already have subscribed. I'm very, very, very excited, and I'm also excited for the year that is ahead, and I'm praying for you and praying for your family, and I pray that you have yourself a prosperous 2021. From myself, Nombendule Shabamu. We'll talk again next time. Mwah, 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 mwah. I love you lots.